Hello there, and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason, where today we're taking a look at a game that was recently played. Oh gosh, I didn't do my research. On the Rock Jungle. That's the name of this map. Totally didn't forget it there. The Rock Jungle. Maybe a good point to note that this is not a map I see very often. Yeah, the Rock Jungle. Gonna be an interesting one. Features some cool mech spots, a lot of neat stuff. Should be very interesting. Today, spawning as the red team leader, spawning underwater, under the sea. And bright red as can be. It's going to be Dot, spawning as a Cortex commander. Of course, going to be going into some of those Cortex boats. Good stuff. On the other side of the map, spawning as the blue team leader. Also spawning as a core commander, none other than MVP. Okay, we met our leaders. I want to talk about this map. Rock Jungle. It features a lot of wacky pathways, right? So there's these green metal extractors that are worth quite a lot of money, 3.7 metal per second, versus the regular 2.1s. But these 2.1s are also quite valuable as well. So it's one of those maps that has fewer valuable metal extractors rather than kind of lots of invaluable metal extractors. I always think of, what's that map called? Jade Empress, I believe is what it's called. That map is kind of the antithesis of this map, where you have 101 metal per second metal extractors all churning out butter. The area that you control that map much better than the actual individual metal extractors. This map, the opposite way. So keeping control over these mechs is going to be really important, is what I'm trying to say. I do believe this is also one of those maps that is imbalanced intentionally. Yeah, and I can highlight this here. So you can see NCAP, Soft Ice, MVP'd, and Student of Teriyaki. Whoa, a little bit of a weird line drawing right there. Going to be contesting the southern side. So that's 4 commanders on the right-hand side versus Isbad, Random Variable, and Emma Tarkus. Is that like Tartarkus from the from John? Not John Wick. What is that? What is that movie called? Oh, John Carter. That's what that movie's called. Emma Tarkus. Anyway. That's an old movie, but man, I love that movie. I go back and rewatch that like once a year just because I think it's probably some of my favorite action, like sci-fi fantasy action. I would love to play like a tabletop campaign of that game. Anyway, or of that movie, right? Play a campaign in that reality. I think it would be a lot of fun. What was I? Oh, yeah, that's right. So this is 3 commanders. So we have 3 commanders going up against 4 right here. Means, of course, that it's going to be a little bit imbalanced for the red team on the southern side. And obviously that goes the same way up on the northern side here for the blue team, where we have 4 commanders here and 3 commanders over here. I'll go ahead and clear these map markers before they get in the way. But it just highlights the point that this bomber is going to be shutting down an already disadvantaged team on the northern side. There we go. Nice bombing run right there. Connects with a bunch of wind turbines. It's a single bomber. Looks like we did have a scout as well, though, so the scout is quite nice. But yeah, look at the damage it can do. My goodness, popping those wind turbines is wonderful, and taking down the mexes is great as well. Bomber coming in and connecting in a huge way. This is lovely. This is really, really lovely. What a wonderful start right here. So we went for Hovercraft for the blue team, but it meant that there was no air player. Means that now Soft Ice is going to lose hundreds of metal worth of wind turbines. Oh, this is beautiful. This is the kind of bombing that you love to see. One single bomber finding value right here. Finally, an anti-air bot is built. Too little, too late, though. That bomber has already collided with the mexes, the wind turbines, all the rest of it here, and managed to do wonderful things for the red team. You can see already pulling into an advantage here with the red team now leading, whoa, by 400%, no, closer to 10. But yeah, it's this single bomber coming across the map and doing damage. Ooh, one more run? Nope, not going to get that last bombardier load out of the hatch there. Random Variable calls a resign vote already. Oh, that's rough. Oh, wow, that's really rough. My goodness. Hovercraft attack. While the bombing was wonderful and all, the Hovercraft attack has completely shut down the laboratory here of Dot. Left high and dry in the water, never a good situation to be in. The turbines are in a load of trouble, and now there's a submarine here to take down the mexes as well. This is an awful situation for the red commander, forced to move back with the comm and the con. Going to try and recuperate here, but this gives Teriyaki Tilo a huge advantage in the water. Wait, do we have... Oh, weird. So we have Teriyaki Tilo and Student of Teriyaki. So I guess this is like Master and Apprentice, right? Take the grasshopper from my hand, young apprentice. That's kind of what's going on here, apparently. They're both German players, so maybe they're, yeah, maybe they do work together. Maybe they know each other or something like that. If you happen to be watching this, I would love to hear this story. I always love hearing stories. I know there was a group of gamers that were, it was like the grandfather, the father, and the son. It was 3 different gamers. It was generational gaming is what it was, which is always exciting to see. I always love when that sort of thing happens because you can probably pull off some pretty crazy strategies, right? There's team coordination, sure, but familial coordination? I imagine it's got to be top tier. Random Variable stepping forward, the orange commander, The red team's still sticking in this. Whoops, pardon me, pulling the camera around. Dot, well, okay, gonna be rebuilding. We have the lab back up and running. We need those tidal generators badly as well. We've got the resbot reclaiming, or the conbot. Where did the, oh, wait, what? Submarine has gone down. I'm not sure where, I'm not sure why the submarine is dead. Oh, that was the wreckage of it right there. Huh. That's pretty weird. I don't know where the submarine ended up at. That submarine should have been able to kill basically all these metal extractors, but instead they stayed up and running. I assumed that it would kill all of them, but I guess you know what they say about assumptions. Huh. Okay, well, all said and done, this actually doesn't end up being as bad of a situation here for Dot as it really looked like. Losing some metal in the lab because you reclaimed it from the corpse rather than, of course, reclaiming it from a, reclaiming it from its full construction power or whatever, but at the very least, it does mean that there's a opportunity for Dot to come back here. A slim, thin margin. You know what? He's making the best of it. This frigate is engaging against the destroyer. The build power here from the commander will repair that destroyer quite nicely, keeping it in the fight. But my goodness, that was really an effective amount of damage right there. Skater also in a little bit of trouble here, going to be scuffed up once this frigate rolls out. As long as we can keep both of these alive, maybe bringing one of them back to repair and sending the other forward, it could be a good situation. Student of Teriyaki taking some hits. Those frigates very dangerous to commanders. Used here for defense. You know what? It's some good teamwork all around. That was like one pawn. That was 2 pawns defending against 5. That was not a fight that was supposed to be nearly as efficient as it actually ended up being. Yeah, one of the frigates going to be pulled back. The other one's still on the front here, going to be firing away. Oh, he wants to catch that destroyer. I think if he can, it's a huge advantage. So this is the mass skater destroyer build that we've seen ever so frequently. It works. That's why we keep seeing it. Oh, Rocketeer snipe from the Orange Commander. What a cheeky little play from random variables. Sure, yeah, the Rocketeers have more than enough range to reach out into the water. Well, at least on this map, and try and fire away right there. Obviously, they're going to be outdamaged or outpaced, right, by the damage that the destroyers can put out, and they have superior range as well. But yeah, why not? Use those Rocketeers to help your teammate out. I love it. Skaters engaging here too with their little laser beams. Technically they're heat beams. Firing away. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah. Frigates, not necessarily gonna care. Their laser beams are not very high damage. They're meant to tickle things. What they're more valuable for is, of course, triggering flanking damage. If those get behind the frigates and allow the destroyers to fire away and essentially get the flanking bonus, it can give you about a 90% damage boost, which is massive. I mean, you can imagine your units doing twice as much damage effectively as if you had twice as many units. Yeah, that's a huge, huge thing. Pawn's continuing to run forward right here. Okay, the aggression is on. I think the blue team smells blood in the water and they want to continue the pressure right here. Isbad managing to take over the control of this green section, though. The Orange Commander random variable maintaining control over these, but losing the metal extractors constantly. And that is a bummer, but at the very least, we do have control over this low ground, high metal extractor. MVP positioning forces on the front here, but it is a heavy laser tower. It means that those bots aren't really going to be able to do much, so it's going to have to be a vehicle transition on that side if we want to break that efficiently. Otherwise, of course, we can just go ahead and go for T2. Always remember that if your opponent is going for a lot of pork, you can just go ahead and go for T2. Yeah. We're going to waste a lot of metal. You may as well get something out of it. Well, here we go. Teriyaki Tilo and Student of Teriyaki working together to try and push this Navy lane, but not really finding much room. The destroyers are out now for Dot, who has pumped out 2 of those bad boys, is now getting them across the way. The metal that has been donated here, I think I agree with that spectator note, the metal that's been donated has been enough to recover the Red Commander. Just goes to show how back and forth the Navy can be. You take one bad fight and suddenly you can be on the back foot for a long, long time. Student in a little bit of trouble here. Down goes the Cyan Commander. Teriyaki in a lot of trouble here as well. Those destroyers are on the prowl, looking to snipe another commander, and I think they're going to get it. Depth charges away, and boom goes the Green Commander in the midsection of the map, blasting down 2,500 metal worth of comm wreckages on the high seas. These oppressors have been exactly that, devastating to all the forces here. Now the commander can move forward and eat all this, and that just means we can go into more of these destroyers. Lovely stuff right here from the Red Commander. Dot not throwing in the towel early. I love to see it, and bringing this match back from the brink of total annihilation. I know, I have to invoke that name very carefully. I throw that name in and YouTube picks it up and says, oh, that's right, this isn't Beyond All Reason, this is Total Annihilation. And, good old YouTube. Wonderful in ideas, sloppy on the mechanics. Either way, 1.25 thousand metal down the drain right there for the blue team and into the hands directly of the red team. That's going to be at least a destroyer and maybe even some frigates out on the field. Now look at that. Dot has transitioned entirely to destroyers. Lovely stuff. Variable continuing to try and rebuild these mexes. At the very least has the resbots, so we could just resurrect these mexes. That means you pay nothing effectively. I mean, you have to pay the, what is it, 300 energy or something to resurrect them. Effectively nothing, and especially a mid-game. And on a map with this many trees where you can reclaim half that energy, or well, all of that energy from just a couple of resbots pulling energy out of the forest. Those useless forests producing nothing of any substance for any of these robotic beings. Isbad holding the line right here, loses the mechs, but that's not the end of the world. The 3.7 mechs is a little bit more tender to lose. Blue force is pushing forward right here, and we do have a con building a bunch of LLTs. It's quite nice to prevent against any run-bys, but more nice is these resbots picking up all the wreckages on the southern side, making this a very efficient battle. Oof. This guy's won before, it's crazy. Yeah, I agree. The red commander trying desperately to hold on for himself. The, yeah, Shuriken here, making big moves. Just when Dot was making a play back into this game without any anti-air to shoot down those shurikens, suddenly losing tons of his boats on the front lines here. Destroyer's going to need to get some efficient trades, but down goes the red commander, and that was really all of the reclaim force that the red commander had on the fronts. He has the construction boat, and he has the construction, or the resurrection sub, so he can res some of this material, but he needs to get these boats back into combat immediately. Essentially, whoever can control this wreckage field and whoever can put more boats on the field with it is going to be in a better spot here. Now, we have the anti-air, and we also have the sonar vision right now. Means that we can shoot out at a greater distance right here. The skaters provide the same thing for the green commander, and obviously 4 destroyers against 2 is going to be an advantage for the green commander. But it's well worth noting that those are very low in HP. 4% and 29% on one of those, and 51 for the other. It's effectively a fair fight. I mean, you've got basically two destroyers worth of health on the blue side, 2 destroyers worth of health on the red side. However, of course, you have 4 guns firing versus 2. Going to give you somewhat of an advantage. Bombing run connects with the backline over here. That's what we saw passing by the screen here just a moment ago. These whirlwind bombers are finding nice purchase. Yeah, bombing down those wind turbines makes a lot of sense. Using those heavy impulse bombs to blast down some of those more sensitive eco structures. There's also, oh yeah, tidal generators are a good target. If you target them. Well, ifs and buts and coconuts, but really all that matters is hitting the A button and left-clicking on that actual facility. If you're not going to do that, then you're not really going to do much at all. Bombers get shot out of the air without finding too much more purchase. I guess they take down some more wind turbines over here for Xeno Dragon. These tidal generators are producing a whopping 264 metal per second, which is massive for these early game economies. Although I guess we're past the early game, well into the mid game at this point here. Ooh, a blue commander goes down to just a good old-fashioned Janus. The Janus tank pushing forward right here, firing its twin heavy impulse missiles. Ground-to-ground dual missile launcher connecting with that commander and obviously doing massive, massive damage. No reason these tanks shouldn't be pushing forward right now to secure the win over this base, but at the very least counteracted somewhat by the fact that the orange commander has just gone down over here as well. Isbad trying to degun down some of these forces. A swing and a miss and a miss and a hit. And a hit. And eventually it all goes down. Brown commander continuing to try and deny that wreckage here, but I think we managed to suck just about all the metal out of it before the degun connected. What a brutal battle here on this southern side. Mace is being pumped out of the laboratory of the orange commander, who's now trying to get more and more of that tech back up and running, recovering from that bombing run. Not the end of the world, but of course building more and more wind turbines is going to help that economy stabilize. And again, remember, the red team is on the back foot here on the southern side, not supposed to be winning this fight. Janus tank manages to blast down the lab, unlocking the laser tower to actually fire away at it. Means that Janus will be forfeit, save for Emma Tarkus realizing that it's being killed. Nope. Down it goes. A little bit of a bummer. T2 out and on the field now. Isbad paying for that loss of front line right here with the T2 transition. It's a valid strategy, a valid strategic decision there. If you're going to find yourself in a stalemate or you need to come back into a game, T2 is often one of the better ways to do that. Boats have been repaired and we're ready for round 2. We've got 5 destroyers out and available for the red commander compared to just 4 for the green. Looks like we've moved production forward. Oh, we've had a little bit of a run by. Looks like yellow forces have swept through here. I'm not sure. These are yellow construction turrets? Wait, hold on. I'm gonna back off here. Okay, so I backed off quite a way. What I missed was, of course, that reetzweet, the yellow commander, which I was wondering how these became yellow at one point, migrated his commander all the way down through this side, was undetected and into the base of the red commander. Now look at this. He's captured the laboratory and gone ahead and captured the construction towers as well, using them to reclaim the base. This is hilarious. What a bizarre way to play this, but the green commander has not noticed. Teriyaki Tilo is without production, sending those boats forward, and it's all been captured by the yellow commander. What on earth? What a bizarre play right here. Wow. I can't believe I even missed this. I mean, I'm without words. This is bizarre. The yellow commander reetzweet managing to reclaim everything around over here and sending this commander into the backline. I mean, okay, what an engagement. We've backed off quite a while. There's that bombing run that we saw earlier. So this happened a long time ago, and I just had no idea about it. This was, I think, about 4 minutes back now. What on earth? I gotta keep my eyes glued on reetzweet. What is he up to over here? He's sneaking into the backline. He's gonna find Soft Ice's commander. This comm here of the yellows is going to be really, really low HP. Soft Ice could technically take the fight, I think. Yeah. If you just chase down the commander... Oh, got disengaged right there. If you chase down that commander, you're gonna have enough HP to blast it back. reetzweet turning northward, though. I mean, this is too good. Reclaiming the entire laboratory right there. That's the reason why Teriyaki Tilo had to rebuild this lab on the front line here, is because he lost it in the back line. These captured construction turrets have managed to eat up the entire lab. And I mean, it's great. That's obviously going to give you, what is it, 600-ish metal, yeah, 600 metal back to the economy here for the yellow commander, effectively paying for the T2 transition, or a significant part of it anyways. Gunslinger out to try and deal with reetzweet's comm walking towards the base. We've got a beamer turret here as well, which is going to help out nicely. Oh, no micro right there on that, yeah, Gunslinger. And the commander walks right in. Well, I'll be. reetzweet making a bold turnaround now and managing to sneak right into the base of the powder blue commander. Down goes the laboratory. Soft Ice, transporting in. Oh, D-Gun doesn't connect with the transport. Yellow commander will finally be brought low. But that's an entire T2 lab brought down over here, 1 of 3, so at the very least tech still arrives either way. Run from it, hide from it. reetzweet still arrives either way. Now we're about back to where we were moments ago, with the mesas rolling into the lab here and with the T2 bots running amok. And with quite a lot of destroyers now built up, but with 600 metal down the drain, and we don't have this mechs turning out butter either, so that's definitely a problem. Rocketbot's climbing up the hills right now, and with that massive play, I think the midsection of this map has been well carved apart. The powder blue and purple commanders working together to try and rebuild this base in the backline, trying desperately to get production back underway. Wind turbines are still churning out energy, and we do have 1 AMAX at the very least making metal as well. But with this lab overwhelmed right here for Zoidy, this northern side is looking like it's in complete shambles. Anyway, back to where we were. Red side is holding on. The southern armies are mounting right here. Isbad getting some of those T2 up and running. We have mostly T2 mexes now. T2 Geo will really seal the deal as far as energy production goes, and once we get a couple more converters up and running, it's going to be a lot of extra resource heading back towards the Brown Commander. The Red Navy, unsurprisingly, is going to take a wonderful fight here, yeah. Having production superiority for a good hot minute there. Now going to feel more than comfortable engaging against the Navy right here of the Green Commander. We've got double the forces. It's a mirror, well, it's basically a mirrored composition, but double the firepower. Not to mention, of course, that the Cortex destroyers are quite a bit better than the Armada ones. It means that they will easily sweep through the Navy right here of the Green Commander. What a wild play. reetzweet 100%, 150% saving his team. And I can't wait to read the comments that are like, oh my goodness, you missed it. And then 3 minutes later, oh no, he got it. Somebody's feeling called out right about now, and if it's you, don't be alarmed. I'm sure you're not alone. SK10 in a little bit of trouble here. Does go down to the Hounds that are pushing out right here. This is a pitfall that I've definitely seen happen more than once, where T1 units are continually produced because you have such an advantage. You figure you may as well go and win the game with the T1, when in reality, pushing into T2 with T1 can be a dangerous proposition. Suddenly you're giving away hundreds and hundreds of metal worth of T1 that turns into even more efficient T2 as it gets reclaimed. It means you have to be very careful about this sort of thing, so I like to see that these units for SK10 are being pulled back. Hopefully they're reclaimed and just turned into more metal of T2 units that can be sent and actually do some damage against the T2 efficiently. ANCAP in a lot of trouble right here. Depth charges from the destroyers don't take long to blast down a commander. It's about 6% per shot. Yeah, about 6% per depth charge. Means that in just a matter of moments, with 6 destroyers firing away, it'll only take, yeah, not long. It'll only take not long. Never do math in a video, but it doesn't take long for those to make a commander meet their ultimate end. Whittling down the LLTs over here that were protecting the coastline from commander ambush. And the fight on the southern side is looking good still. Yeah, it's still a T1 versus T2 fight. Yeah, eat it all, says the Maroon Commander, and I think I agree. This comp should be eating away as quickly as possible. Resbots out of the T1 lab wouldn't be the worst thing either, and we should also eat up this vehicle lab if we're no longer using it. Sending metal back to your T2 commander, your T2 tech player, definitely a viable strategy, right? Using that T2 advantage that they have to your benefit. As long as they're supporting you, you may as well utilize it. Herrings did not lose their tracking on their missiles, so they are very effective as anti-fast, anti-raider bot units. However, Platypus are T2 and have more than enough HP to deal with all this. It means that they're going to swarm across the battlefield here and might be able to find some purchase. Certainly the Red Commander's in a little bit of trouble. We do have constructors all over, though, so we should see this con move over to the enemy side of the map and try and capture the mexes, and then, of course, you can build an amphibious gantry or something like that to try and seal the deal. The supporter gunboats are actually quite decent. They fire a twin barrage of laser cannons, means that they can take down these platypus with relative efficiency. Again, these are 100 metal apiece versus the platypus 260, so you're not expecting a 1-to-1 trade, but certainly close enough. The Welder's in position now to blast down some of these as well, and I think those are going to react quite a bit better, especially considering how grouped up a lot of these platypus are. Welder's arc reactor, or arc technology, Tony Stark reactor, going to be firing away here. Trying to liquefy all the metal internals, all the sensitive components of these units. Reducing them to slag. My headcanon, and I don't know if this is true or not, but my headcanon is that these are repurposed construction bots. I mean, it's not a crazy logical jump that the welder is a repurposed construction bot. I know that's definitely not the most unique premise. But the way that they store their little gun on their back like that, you see how the gun is stored in their backpack and then they pull it out whenever they're ready to do battle? It's pretty funny. Wow. The bombing run of all time. I guess we're not done picking on the orange player here. Random variable feeling a little bit less randomly targeted here. The orange commander bombed for a second time this game with a massive swarm of bombers heading across. Missing the advanced geothermal entirely, though, means that the majority of the economy is still intact right now for the brown commander. Oh, no retarget either. We're going to pop the E-converters, which is always a bummer, but not necessarily as explosive as the advanced geothermal would have been. We do have sharpshooters marching forward. Wow, this wasn't reclaimed, actually. Ooh, that's a tactical blunder right there from the red team. This should have been reclaimed ages ago, eons ago, eternities ago. Instead, it'll be the blue commander that actually manages to get the value of reclaiming all that. Sharpshooters blasting away at the static defenses here, always quite lovely as well. Today I learned a heavy laser tower can stand one shot of a sharpshooter before dying. Little things like that are always good to memorize, good to keep in mind in case you're ever caught in a situation where one sharpshooter is out and you're wondering if you can keep your HLT alive. Love this though. The boat's cutting across this little I don't know, riverway to try and shut down some of the spam over here. I like this play quite a lot, if it weren't for the sharpshooters that are going to decimate those boats quite quickly. The northern side is in shambles, though. Look at this pork that we're setting up here. It's just loads of hounds and loads of static defense. We've got the pit bulls coming up right here. We're just looking to defend ourselves as much as possible. Hold out against the swarm right here while the blue side wins their southern lane. Sharpshooters without their pinpointers definitely leave much to be wanted here. You could also go for a scout spam if you wanted to just send a bunch of rovers or rascals forward, but obviously that's quite expensive. Especially to send in a really tremendous volume. Jupiter Jazz with the D-gun. Oh, misses the D-gun. A swing and a swing and a miss and a miss and a hit. Eventually manages to connect with some of those sprinters, but definitely not enough to save themselves. The powder blue forces are now decimated as the hounds move into position to try and intercept, but have no chance. Yeah. Commander goes down. That solar collector looked really weird to me. I'm not sure why. And the army of the Pink Command are pushing forward. They say, well, if you're going to pork up this northern corner, there's no reason for us to continue fighting that. We'll just go for the squishier angle. And indeed, this is the angle that actually leads towards the rest of the team. Soft Ice in some trouble here, too. Salamanders popping up and dealing a bunch of damage to that purple commander. With the perfect surround, those Salamanders actually burn that commander down quickly, and there goes the blue team. Apparently, the last commander of the blue team right there in purple gets sniped by the Salamanders, meaning that after a back-and-forth brutal game, the red team manages to snatch it. What a bizarre play right there from reetzweet. A comeback mechanic to seal the deal, saving the team from obliteration and managing to swing the naval game and eventually pull his team back into things. This was looking risky with that early hovercraft push shutting down the naval production, but eventually they managed to pull it back. The red team holding on for dear life on the southern side and making a massive comeback. Phew, what a match. Thanks a ton for watching. I think I need to go take a nap or close my eyes or something. That game was intense. And I sure hope to see you in the very next game of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody, and have a blessed rest of your day.